Hello everyone, Rich Hagon, Brian David-Marshall with you here at the end of day 2 of Pro Tour Journey into Nick's Atlanta, Georgia. Great Southern hospitality. BDM, you want to get in the easy chairs, don't you? Because you're whacked.
I actually kind of want to push them together and lay down and kind of like ride out this adrenaline push.
Yes, it has been, the last few hours of the tournament have been amongst the most exciting I can remember. It's always tense finding out who's going to make it in, but the top 8 we have ended up with is one of the more extraordinary of recent times.
Absolutely. Patrick Chapin, a Hall of Famer, has made, we were talking about it, he's made so many different types of top 8s. He's got a top 8 as a junior in the Pro Tour. He's got a type 1 top 8. He's been in the world's top 8. And now here he is. He's the top seed. He's going to be on the play the entire time.
There he is.
A full match ahead of his next competitor. And, it was fascinating to talk to him because, he's like, yeah, that's really nice. He's like, I appreciate it. Yes. I'm happy. But really, he's kind of like, this is like, tomorrow's day 3, but it's really like a 6 or 7 day tournament that he's trying to qualify for.
Right.
Because, day 3, he's got to win 3 rounds on day 3 so he can get to day 4, which is day 1 of the World Championships.
Wow, man on a mission.
So he's treating this like almost like his PTQ top 8. He's been in the top 8 before. I mean, he'd love to win a Pro Tour, but he really wants to be the world champion.
All right, so he is number 1. Number 2, raising the roof, Reed Duke from the United States, 12-3-1. Number 1 on the Pro Tour top 8 list for Reed Duke.
Yeah, he passes. He also passes Jeremy Desani in the Pro Player of the Year standings.
Right. So he is the number 1 ranked player when the rankings come out next week.
Correct. And how much distance he can put between himself and Jeremy is going to depend on, well, how his quarterfinals, potentially his semifinals, and your lips to Heliod's ears, the finals.
2 pretty fantastic stories so far. Oh, I wonder if we can find another with Andrea Mengucci of Italy.
I was talking to Andrea, and he's like, I looked at the pairings for round 1, and I thought, how unfortunate. I'm paired up against our Pro Tour champion in round 1. He was facing down against Sean McLaren, the champion from Pro Tour Born of the Gods, and that meant not only was he, playing against someone pretty formidable, but he had to do so under the lights. He was going to the feature match area. Sean McLaren came into this tournament as the king of the hill, and that meant he had to play against him, and then, he just stayed in that feature match area for 8 rounds. Incredible. He's like, I like to be watched. He's like, I like people watching me play Magic. So he wasn't flummoxed by that at all and stayed the course, and here he is in the top 8.
Well, we can promise him that he'll have plenty of people watching him tomorrow.
Absolutely.
As will our number 4. I wonder if his heart has stopped pounding. Josh Utter-Leighton, reigning player of the year, looked for all money to be in with a round to go, and he was the 7th player on the list coming into the last round. He got paired down against Joe Larson. The round went the distance. He got a draw. Not intentional.
Right.
The clock ran out on Joe Larson, which means Josh, yes, an hour later than you thought, you're in.
It's almost like his roller coaster ride was going click, 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 and he's bracing himself for the fall, click, and then it just stopped. Yes, you're safe, you're in.
Yes.
And you were a little surprised, by the way, when you were just going over the stats and you were sort of compiling some information about the top 8. Explain to people. I mean, you're not someone normally surprised by numbers, Richard Hagon.
No, so I was thinking to myself, okay, Josh Utter-Leighton obviously been here before, been a player of the year, so that'll be 1, 2, that'll be his 4th Pro Tour top 8. And then I'm like, wait, no, it won't, because once you go San Juan and you go Philadelphia, and then you go San Francisco Worlds, and then you go Gatecraft, it's 5, the holy number for Hall of Fame status, right?
Yes, the second holy number. The first holy number is 10. 10 years, you want to be playing on the Pro Tour for 10 years. He's still 3 years away from that 10-year mark.
Wow.
Yeah, soak that in. That's crazy.
5 top 8s for Josh. Can he go the distance? So who else is going to get in the way of this star-studded lineup? Stanislav Sivka, another Pro Tour champion.
Our Pro Tour return to Ravnica champion. I asked him, how did this feel compared to the last one? And he's like, well, the last one was pretty easy. I I was kind of out ahead of the pack all day. He's like, this one I had to fight viciously for.
Excellent.
I had to fight for every win.
Yeah, and I loved the way that there's always this balance to be struck between excitement at being in the top 8 and a ruthless desire to get on with practicing for the top 8. And he was very much, I haven't really looked at my matchups. I'm just going to enjoy this accomplishment because Sunday is for Sunday. And right now, I've done something that 341 people couldn't, which is make it into the top 8. So good for him. Have a great night. Come back tomorrow, see what he can do. Now, not 100% certain, haven't checked the record books. What do you reckon, Mr. Historian, Mr. Statistician between us? Prepared to gamble that Nam Sung-wook is the first South Korean Pro Tour top 8er?
I cannot recall anyone else.
I believe Cynic Kim would be the.
Does he have a Worlds?
I don't believe so. I think that is a little bit of South Korean history there, and well done to him.
Yeah, no,
fantastic.
Great, and success on the Grand Prix circuit, and now we're seeing him carry that over into the Pro Tour.
Yep, the real deal. Now, if you're going to have a Japanese representative in the top 8, you would start off by thinking Shuhei Nakamura, twice Player of the Year, Yuya Watanabe maybe, Kenji Samura Hall of Famer. Wouldn't have gone for losing record at my first 2 Pro Tours that have only just in the last year or so. Pro Tour Dragon's Maze was the debut for Yuki Ichikawa. Turns out between number 2 and number 3, he got some stuff sorted out. 12-3-1, brilliant.
Absolutely, just remember when you think about some of those Japanese names that you mentioned, there was a time where you're like, well, you wouldn't be expecting to say the name Shuhei Nakamura when you're announcing your top 8.
That's right.
Well, we've never heard of this Yuya Watanabe guy before. I don't know if he's any good.
Just out of interest, where is that accent from?
That's your accent, isn't it? I'm not very good at accents. I was trying, though.
Really true. Wow. Finally, I'm going to hand over to a man that you are on tape as describing as the bane of your existence. Here's Jamie Park making it in super dramatic fashion, 12-4. Let's talk a little bit about Jamie.
I've literally known Jamie when he was, curse you meddling kids. He was, a rambunctious teenager coming to my tournaments and playing at my store in New York. But grown up to be a fine individual, a great person, great Magic player always, and it's someone who's super passionate about. You see this a lot with Magic players as they get to that sort of middle 20s and they kind of fall away from the game a little bit. Maybe they get a job, and there's something as they get into their late 20s and early 30s where they're like, man, I miss that. Oh man, do I want to get back on the Pro Tour? Holy cow, do I have the fever? Like. Jamie Park, if you took his temperature, his magic temperature, it would be like one of those Fred Flintstone cartoon thermometers where the bulb of mercury swells up and bursts. Like his magic fever has been at an all-time high, and so excited to see him getting back into the top 8. Last time we saw him here was I think
2008 Memphis.
Yeah, Worlds 2008 Memphis.
And before that, Worlds 99.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him. Just one brief word about the next 8.
Oh my gosh.
We would be thrilled with a top 8 that was Joel Larson, Jared Butcher, Ben Friedman, Stu Summers, Paul Rietzel, Pro Tour champion, Tom Martell, Pro Tour champion, Eric Froelich, Michael Majors. That would be a wonderful top 8.
And can we take a moment to just sort of congratulate Jared Betcher?
Let's explain why.
So Jared Betcher finishes 9th at the last Pro Tour, catapults himself into the Rookie of the Year race, combines that with a strong GP finish. Comes here, he finishes 10th.
There he is.
Finishes 10th at this Pro Tour.
That was with a draw in the last round.
Yeah, he drew intentionally. He locks up platinum.
Right.
He is well in the lead for the Rookie of the Year race, with many of the other candidates for Rookie of the Year not qualified for Portland. So, you can see how difficult it is to actually win the Rookie of the Year race because it involves qualifying for multiple events and performing well at multiple events. Jared's done it, but he's really just made quite the impression on me in a very short period of time. Really knows his stuff. I really expect we're going to be saying his name a lot over the next 2 seasons.
You expect him to finish 11th in Portland,
yeah,
presumably,
well,
9th,
yes.
10th.
I have the evidence right here.
The sequencing is impeccable. All right. Something else that we can guarantee in sequence is that after the 16 rounds we've shown you yesterday and today, we'll show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more tomorrow.
Wow.
Because we will sequence all 4 quarterfinals. You'll see best 2 out of 3. You will see 5 times Pro Top 8 Hall of Famer Patrick Chapin. You'll see fan favorite Reed Duke in action in his first. You'll see the heir apparent King of the Hill Andrea Mengucci. Josh Utter-Layton, the reigning player of the year, who if he wins this, could be favorite to repeat as player of the year. Who
Absolutely.
does that? Kai Buddha does that. We're looking at another Kai. If Josh wins tomorrow, incredible. You're looking at a Pro Tour champion in Sifka, Nam Sung-wook, the first South Korean, Yuki Ichikawa getting his act together at his 3rd Pro Tour, and Jamie Park at his 3rd Top 8, spanning almost the life of the game. Don't you dare miss a moment tomorrow. For everyone here on the coverage team, video, text, behind the scenes, the 349 players who put themselves at the tables for your entertainment at home. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Louis Scott Vargas on board as well, don't forget. For Brian David Marshall, I'm your host, Rich Hagon, saying bye.